now.
Where's our friend?
Hello, everybody. We are on Facebook Live now on Good of the Whole Connection Field. And I'm Connie Baxter Marlow.
I'm Andrew Cameron Bailey, and here's the beautiful Wowza.
Wowza, Elisa Lodge.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. Hi.
Yeah, and we're going to have a conversation today about free will, because this is within the context of our Dance of Souls, the Relationship Revolution course that we have online.
Revolution or evolution?
Evolution with an R.
Evolution.
With an R.
Ah.
And we have that online. You can access it through the trustfrequency.net, and Wowza is part of that course. And so what we want to talk about is how free will influences, or what capabilities we have because of our free will to create our own reality, and that we actually choose to incarnate on Earth. That's a fundamental principle of the Dance of Souls course.
And that takes a little free will to do.
That takes a little free will to do, to choose
Right.
to incarnate. Because our definition of humanity, and I'm going to put that up again on screen, our definition of humanity is, just want to show it to you. Let's see.
Choose that. There you go.
So humanity is, do you want to read that, Andrew?
Okay. So if you go to the dictionary and look up the word humanity, you will not find this. But if you go to our book, The Trust Frequency, and our other ebooks and projects, you will find that humanity is a collection of divine, autonomous, sovereign beings who have chosen to incarnate on Earth, to learn and grow on our soul's journey to wholeness, each with an individual purpose and a unique gift.
So we ask that you take this assumption, this definition as absolutely true for the exercise for this course, the Dance of Souls.
Because it actually changes everything.
It changes everything.
Totally different perspective on existence.
So what we're going to focus on tonight is the fact that we have chosen to incarnate on Earth, to learn and grow on our soul's journey to wholeness, which is our self-love, self-acceptance, and alignment with our divinity, so that we can bring our unique gift into this party of life, the gift we promised to bring to the party, which is us. So let's have a little chat about that. What are your thoughts, Andrew, on free will? And I'm going to stop sharing.
Yeah.
The
cancel the share up there.
Stop sharing. And what are your thoughts on that?
All right. So given that I and you and each of us made a pre-incarnation agreement to come to this planet and go through whatever it is that we encounter once we get here. That's interesting. Did we know what we were letting ourselves in for? Maybe not, because we are conscious beings who are learning and growing on our journey. Okay. So presumably in that pre-incarnation space, we are in a state of unity and much greater freedom than we seem to have here on this planet. In other words, it seems that we come in through the birth canal, we emerge, and we're completely astonished by what meets our eyes when we open our eyes, because what's this? Who is that? Oh, you're my mommy. Whoa. And we forget everything that we knew prior, perhaps. Or perhaps for the first months of our lives, we remember. And then slowly the dream fades And here we are as human beings on this planet with its restrictions, its limitations, its attitudes. We're surrounded by fellow human beings who are mommy and daddy and our teachers in school and on, who don't actually know the stuff we're talking about in this program we're presenting right here, right now. So we appear to be restricted. We appear, when somebody says to you, we have absolute free will, it's a fundamental law of the universe. It's like, what are you talking about? You've got to be kidding. However, it is the higher truth. So there's this whole thing called determinism. Oh, everything we encounter is already determined. And then there's this thing of free will, and supposedly there's some sort of conflict or balance between the two. So is everything predetermined, or are we completely free to make our own choices as we go along? And I would say, and I know it's a long answer to your beautiful question, that every step of the way to my age right now in my 70s, from the time I was born, I made these choices, whatever those choices were, to study when I was in school, whatever it was, on and on. Every choice I made put me precisely where I am right now. I made those choices. I, Andrew, made those choices. They were not made for me. If somebody told me to do something, I made a choice to obey. So free will is a fundamental law of the universe.
And that's one of our assumptions in the trust frequency. And now we want to ask Wowza. But one thing I want to say before we go to Wowza, and that is that in these assumptions, we say there is only love. And we see things as not love because we don't understand the nature of that love, which is unconditional. And it gives us everything we ask for, which is this free will piece of choosing to incarnate. That's our overarching act of free will, that we told this loving universe, okay, I'm going to planet Earth to learn and grow on my soul's journey to wholeness with a gift and a purpose. Okay, so every word in that definition is key to understanding what we consider the true nature of the universe. According to us, according to me, that's my worldview, absolute worldview. And we have a choice in our worldview. So the other thing I just want to throw in is that one of our assumptions is also that circumstance loves us more than we do. So circumstance that intervenes, that takes us places that we think we don't want to go, is actually the loving universe taking us to where our soul said it wanted to go on this journey, and it wanted to bring this very special gift, which is all of us, not just the parts that we think people are going to like, but the parts of us that, the unique parts of us that we may feel ashamed of or scared of or whatever. So anyway, I want to throw that in, and let's see what Wowza wants to add to this. You're muted, Wowza. Hold on.
Unmute.
Un-
There you are.
I love this idea. My life changed when I could actually state, I am a conscious, loving being, living in a conscious, loving universe. That idea of moving from a separate self that I came in as a wounded child. And I really bless that from this perspective, that no matter how much resistance, no matter how much disfigurement of my very being, there was such a deep desire inside. What is this desire? What is this pull? They call future pull. That something was literally just driving me to, it was almost like, like spreading the veils, throwing out the head that was just like such pressure on my head to stay the same, to remain a victimized child. And yet I knew something was inside of me. That was the first time of real free will. Because even though on the surface, everything was, I felt, doing this to me, inside, there was something greater. And that was like following the breadcrumbs. Because with that drive, I would turn around and something was guiding and leading me. It was something someone said. It was a book. It was an exercise program. It was something to get me stronger, to get me more creative. Where did that huge pull come from? What is that? It was fascinating to me. And then having an actual experience of being flooded, it was really like a cosmic consciousness, of being flooded with so much energy riveting through my body that I went, what is this? And that was the start of, no matter how wounded I was, there was a greater power in me. And of following this energy and beginning to explore it. And that's why, of course, I've been so much into expression and physiology, because that was the open door for me really to come through that and own this energy. And then it was so beautiful coming, I really am a conscious creator. We're conscious creators. And whoa, what is it here? What am I here to create? And that just opened again the door to really an extraordinary life that we were just saying before this class. We have just touched the surface of what our potential is now. We haven't even started scratching the surface with all these superpowers that we're discovering now. Oh my gosh, how exciting is that?
Oh, beautiful. And everybody out there, Wowza is 83 or 84?
84. We just had a
84.
birthday.
I know she just had
Don't
a
take
birthday.
you away from me.
Oh,
I love them all.
and we're in our 70s and we're just getting started. I mean, we've been all laying the foundation all our lives.
Right.
And what I say is that everything happens in our life for us, not to us, for one thing, as far as getting us out of the victim consciousness, but also it's everything we've done has prepared us for this moment in our lives. So everybody out there, just know it's a conscious, loving universe that's bringing you experiences, bringing you people, bringing you contacts ever since kindergarten, ever since all through life. The people we've resonated to and had contact with are there for a reason. And who knows what that reason is, but it will unfold in like a beautiful flower opening as life unfolds. So just take it from us here in our 70s, just ready to really blossom into the world.
So here's an image that I'd like to share. Think of us in that state before we incarnated, before we emerged into this reality on this planet. And if we were part of, well, if I would say that I believe that we, even now in the physical body, we are part of this extraordinary being that we give this name, this word, the universe, to. It's actually a living, conscious entity. It's so big that we really cannot.
Liver within 6 months.
Sorry.
My doctor said,
I was trying
to do that. Whatever you did, don't tell us.
We're getting a message from another dimension.
Yeah, I was trying to go on Facebook Live. So I
Please
couldn't.
don't. There'll be a delay there. You don't want to do
I'm
that.
sorry.
Yeah,
I wanted to see if anybody's commenting and stuff.
they
so we
are.
can
There's
respond.
millions of them out there.
Yeah.
So here's the point. In that sort of not undistinguished, but in the indeterminate space before we enter here, we still appear to have some kind of individuality, because each of us who is going to become a human somehow comes together before we arrive into some spiritual form. And we maybe even look down and see that girl and that guy and say, oh, I want them for my mom and dad, so I'm going to go and choose that family. That's a whole other story. But think of what is the reason we do that? Why do we do that? Why on earth are there almost 8 billion of us on this planet right now? And there may be who knows what elsewhere in the universe or universes. There may be a multiverse. So this is the way I love to put it. We come here as roving sensory organs of the universe, of the divine, of God, if you will. So for the universe to experience itself in all its extraordinary, boundless creativity, creative potential, it takes beings like us and beings like these incredibly colorful fish on a coral reef, and these beautiful birds in the forest, and these butterflies and these elephants, and all the extraordinary forms that life takes. This is the universe experiencing itself. And we are kind of every experience we have, every breath we take, we're kind of reporting that back to central headquarters. I am a sensory organ, and I'm one of 8 billion on this planet in this particular form of the universe, of the conscious universe. How extraordinary, what an amazing thing. I mean, that's actually, as far as I can tell, true. I'm making it up.
Yeah. And so this whole thing of the dance of souls, our shadow and our light, our shadow being those parts of ourselves we don't love yet. Okay. And as a culture, as a species, we're going through this right now. As individuals, we're going through it, facing our shadow, facing our fear, facing those parts of ourselves where we feel less than. And we're doing this for all of creation because we are these roving sensory organs of the divine. We are doing a job for all of creation in evolving the divine, in evolving the creation that we are pieces of, that we are, just are, because we are the consciousness that is all of creation. Unified physics is showing us that now. We're not just connected to, we are it, as Andrew has said. So what we have to understand, and what this course is about, this dance of souls, is about the fact that when we incarnated to learn to love those parts, we actually magnetize behaviors from others so that we see the parts that are in our subconscious that we can't see. They come to show them to us. And our triggers, when we get triggered by somebody's behavior, rather than blaming them, saying they're bad and wrong, we say, oh, thank you very much. You've just shown me something about myself. We call this the big flip. From victim to beloved, from victim perpetrator to beneficiary benefactor. And we go from blaming others to gratitude for others. It's huge. It's the job we came here to do. And this construct helps us see that and helps us to become conscious of our behaviors, our defense mechanisms that gets rid of people in our lives, that keeps our mask in place, that gets rid of people who show us those parts of ourselves. So that's the gift we're bringing with this conversation.
Let me say one more quick thing there, and then we'll get back to Wowza. Wowza, this is a beautiful dance we're doing. Thank you. So I just described how I see our emergence into this world. And I must confess, it's confusing. I think it's confusing for a reason. I've never done this before. It's all brand new. Every breath, every moment, every second, it's brand new. So we're figuring it out. And I have my path, which gradually becomes clear to me. And I'm pretty clear about my purpose in life and all of that at this stage. But looking around at my fellow humans on this planet, obviously there's a state of confusion. I think honestly that very few people understand what I'm talking about here. They've never heard this. So they are in a state of extraordinary confusion because here they are, a mass of beings have arrived on this planet with no clarity about their original instructions. They actually received instructions at the very beginning, or they made an agreement at the very beginning. They came here and they got lost. They just became confused because there are all these different philosophies and languages and belief systems that have us as a species very divided, very separate from one another, and very confused. And yet, all the way back to each individual, let's go to me, Andrew. I came here to find my path and remember my purpose and bring my gift through my particular individual path. I individuated from the oneness into this multiplicity. And each of us does that. And I cannot know your path. I cannot know your path. And none of us can really know the paths of, because there are these 8 billion divine autonomous means making up their own mind, free will. Autonomous means you have total free will. We can't know the journey of another. So that's a big deal, and that's actually something that Connie brought up. I can never really know the journey of another. It's almost as though each of us has our own individual universe. I think that might actually be the case.
Yeah. And I'll just say something quickly, Wowza, and that is, so the thing about the unconditional love giving us each what we ask for on this soul's journey to wholeness, we don't know the path of another. So someone who comes in for abuse, someone who comes in to die by murder, someone who comes in to experience abortion, being aborted, someone who comes in to be in a war, all this suffering that we see. If we can ask you to stretch to see that it's possible in this construct, it's absolutely true that there's only love and there's only free will and there's only the soul's journey to wholeness. So that those people that are experiencing that in this construct had to have chosen it for their journey that the loving universe is taking them on. It's very huge. It's a shift into non-duality, beyond duality, beyond right and wrong, good and evil, victim, perpetrator. And until we get there, we're stuck in a lower frequency. So we've got to get there to see there is, in fact, only love. Okay, wowza.
This had to be 50 years ago because I had this breakthrough and I had experienced this very vast energy and knew there was a bigger power. And it wasn't through the different religions that I was exposed to. I knew there was something larger than even that. And when I got into theater and became a professional actress, I just thought of a piece that I did with a group of people. I had something called Theater of the Earth. And I created a scene, and this came partly a dream, I'm not sure anymore, where we were enlightened beings. We were the God force off planet. And it was great. I remember, we walked around, it was great. This is great. And then somebody got an idea, there's got to be more play here. There's got to be, let's have a theater. And you in a theater, you have to have a protagonist and an antagonist, and you have to have a drama. And I go, oh my God, wouldn't that be fantastic? How would we do that? And of course, one of the things we decided, we have to limit ourselves sufficiently to get here to the theater to play the game. But what an exciting game for enlightened beings to get lost and get found. Well, I mean, we won't get lost too much, will we? I mean, we help each other. I mean, we have, it was a whole big thing, how little signals to wake up. And I'll, and in this scene, it was like, oh, the perpetrator, I want to play something big and bold and be strong. And, we would play with this polarity theater. And the supporting actors, exactly what you were saying, had their own agenda as well in this theater. And so it was this intricate thing of really, having a desire. And then the supporting player would come, oh, no, you don't. I'm coming through here. And then the tussling and the fighting and the whole thing. And I remember after this was over, and of course, the biggest thing most people realized in their own lives, they were still in the struggle and did not remember this off-planet expression. And that was the next piece of work. Can we step into the shoes of a God force who is now desiring the more people that this God force can play, can embody, and move into their persona, the bigger, more expanded the God force becomes, right? And so lay it on, what's next? Because in the play, it looks so real. But I think from a larger perspective, even the horrendous stuff that's happening, it is like a dream. Maybe this is the dream. And we were in a reality that we're just now waking up from the dream and from the play that we came here to have this incredible adventure of, oh, yes, I can and I can't, and in the fight and all of the rest of it, just to be able to see how beautifully it is possible now to wake up and see us all as players, all part of that God force, all having their own individual drama. And now we can spring a leak.
Spring a leak.
Wowza, you've just totally described what I see, what this whole thing is for me from this eagle perspective.
Yeah.
Did you say eagle?
Yeah.
Eagle.
Fly eagle.
Fly with eagles.
As opposed to ego, right?
Eagle.
Eagle perspective, right.
I was given the name Eagle Woman. It's my job to fly very high and report back all that I see. And I see exactly what you've described. And you've described it to a T, because what Andrew was saying about evolving the God force, that we are these roving sense, that all has a purpose. We're playing our parts really well. We got put on earth in these different races, different colors, different religions. I mean, it's a perfect setup for playing this out, for transmuting these energies of fear, separation, and scarcity on a collective level. And we do it on an individual level because we were raised to think of scarcity, thinking that's led to competition, that's led to hoarding, that's led to fear of others and power and control over others. And we've just done a great job. And my view of it is that Earth was in a lower frequency. So the energies that we were responding to were lower frequency energies of separation and fear and scarcity. And now the energies shifted. The Earth is in a higher frequency. And I guess on the December 21st, there's going to be a big conjunction of stars and planets and stuff that's going to bring forth another impetus of new energy
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today. So,
who knows?
woo,
Yeah.
So
My-
what happens? I'm sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
I just wanted to say that a fellow countryman of mine said about 400 years ago, said this: all the world's a stage. That is a beautiful metaphor for our life experience of each of
Yes.
us as we emerge and we enter onto the stage and we look around and we realize that, hey, I'm the star, I'm the screenwriter or the playwright,
Right.
I'm the director, and I've got all these other beings around me, and they're my friends or my enemies, or however I choose to free will perceive them. And I just keep on keeping on and figure it out one step at a time. A beautiful expression of Connie's that I love is we go through life one step at a time. Each step is born from the step before. And once we know that, we're in the moment. Because if we're constantly worrying about something we did 50 years ago, and we're sort of living in the past or regretting something or living, we were wonderful once and now we're not, and we are remembering that time, or we're longing for something or planning something for the future, we're not in this present moment. So it's critical to be in this present moment, putting a firm foot ahead of the next step. And here we are in this precious moment.
Well, what comes up as, again, as enlightened beings coming here as enlightened and choosing to play a game, to have a theater, and to have gotten lost in the part of a separate self. Oh, we didn't think that would ever happen. I mean, no. Are you kidding? I mean, we used to, like Othello, I mean, killing Desdemona. I mean, and the actor forgetting he's an actor.
Right.
And there's Desdemona. I mean, he's in jail. And yet I feel that that's what's happening out there. There has been almost the hypnosis of cultural conditioning.
totally.
A serious malady here.
But it's just a response to the lower frequency. So there's no perpetrator in my world. Okay, it's a response to this frequency. So it is cultural conditioning, but it's not them doing it to us.
No.
But all responding.
Again, though, the issue is, how do you wake up?
Yeah.
From truly, it's a hypnosis of you're limited, you're a blank slate. I can put anything in your brain, little child, and you listen to me. I'm the authority, and here we are, lost in the game. So this is the question now. All of this is great, but how do we, when we've all been lost at certain times, we had to know that. And I think we've been slipping through the cracks now. And we're seeing the big picture, and all the work that you're doing is, look what we are. We have gotten lost here. So let's help each other wake up and look at the world and what it would be like to move through it as a conscious creator, as a God force growing and expanding like crazy. So it's, my heart goes out in the compassion for us all, to be able to take the blinders off and say, do you have any idea that you are the whole show?
You are the whole show. That's great.
I mean, perpetrator, victim, you're the whole show. You know what it's like to be that now. You know what it's like to be wounded. You know what it's like to be lost. And now we're learning how to be found, more than found, that we're the ones that are taking off the lid as conscious creator, using free will. My God, I can take off my own lid. Whoops. I always love to play hide and seek, just to be able to know, how do I lose myself? How do I go into forgetfulness? And to have lots of cues, particularly in the physical, because when I can feel those shoulders contracting, when I can feel my heart, I'm barely breathing and I've got a sweet smile on my face, I'm lost in the show.
Yes, and that's the mask, right?
Mhm.
The great mask, and we'll talk about that in future sessions. But one thing I wanted to say about another Brit countryman of his who wrote a beautiful song called Imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine no possessions. Imagine no countries. Imagine nothing to fight and die for.
Imagine no
Imagine no religions.
I wonder
Imagine
if you can.
above us only sky, below us only
Yeah.
whatever. Anyway, I feel, is describing where we're headed, into a culture, into a society, into a world, a frequency where in fact there are no possessions. In the Native American, I've spent extensive time with Native Americans, and at the essence of their cosmology is the giveaway. You don't hoard, you give it away. If you've got something, if you like my necklace, oh, I guess it's your turn for that necklace, because you wouldn't say that out of greed. You would say that out of, it's my turn. I say, oh, cool. I guess
Right.
it's your turn. So here it is. I mean,
That's so
a
beautiful.
whole different reality that
Oh,
I've seen through this essence of the native ways.
uh-huh.
So, and John Lennon describes it so beautifully. So we're headed to another world. And as we shed this victim consciousness and we open our hearts, but it takes a process, and we can't deny the process of moving through our trauma, ancestral as well as personal trauma. But this construct on the nature of the universe helps us understand that it served us. So we get out of victim. Victim is such a powerful place to be. And then it engenders guilt and blame and shame. And it's a whole downward spiral game that does not engender the opening of the human heart and the going into a higher frequency. So as this energies on the planet shift, and as we respond to them, those victim stories have less power. All of a sudden, oh, I was feeling so victimized yesterday, and today, I'm not feeling so victimized. Oh, wow, maybe I can let it go. Maybe I can see that it has served me in some way, because there are many people like you, Wowza, who went through extreme, bizarre circumstances with your crossed eye and your skin disease and all that you went through, that you broke through with this vision of a higher way of being. It all of a sudden your whole physical being transformed and you became a beauty queen, for God's sweet sake. And look at you at 84 years old.
When you were singing that song, I just have to share how extraordinary this emergence of one thing after another unfolding to our heart's desire, our deepest yearning of why we came here with an original gift. Right after the show, I'm doing a Zoom to China and America, and it's all on the new relationship. And I'm going to start, this relationship. Here I am, this little wounded healer. At this place in my life, yes, I've been doing work in China for 15 years, but this is the first time on Zoom, but I am so excited to open up this very theme with these people that have been quite programmed never to talk back to authority.
Yep.
That it's almost like the caste system. Boy, you're here and that's where you stay, and you follow leaders and they tell you what to do. And so going in there and opening up a greater relationship with their body, with their emotions, and to be able to come into relationship with the whole, for the good of the whole. Thank you very much. So I'm just like so excited right now that everything we're doing, it's like I created you, we could say, open up greater clarity. I mean, the book it was truly astounding, people. Trust frequency is simple, it's profound, it has the science behind it. It's easy reading, which I think is a glorious thing. And that information, a lot is what I'm going to be using in China.
Beautiful. Let me say something too. And this is getting back to this evening's about free will. So as we enter this reality, as we walk out on the stage of existence of my personal individual life and yours, and everybody is doing that, the most valuable thing we can exercise is trust. And trust in what? Because can we trust each other? That's a little tricky. That's a little tricky.
If we're lost in the part, it's a hard one.
But we learn to trust that if somebody comes into my life and really does something abusive, trust that that's here for a reason and see if we can summon up the gratitude. But I wanted to say this: trust the process, even if it is, some people's lives really appear to be a hell. Right now, we're losing a lot of people are leaving the planet with this pandemic. We're losing literally millions of humans. Trust that. Trust that process. If I lose my life in this pandemic, my challenge to trust that, because what's going to happen? I'm returning to where I was before I made that pre-incarnation agreement to come here as a roving sensory organ of the conscious loving universe. So to trust myself, firstly, to trust the universe itself, truly trust the universe. Secondly, to truly trust myself and my own intuition to make the right choices in my free will existence. And finally, to trust the timing, because we humans are often in a hurry. We want it now, and we have a vision for something, and we're impatient. That very impatience prevents it from happening. That's what gets in the way. So the word trust, Trust, it's an acronym. It stands for truly rely upon Spirit's timing. And once you do that and relax into this precious present moment, then everything unfolds in its proper time and in its proper form. And we live this life of absolute beauty. So Connie's been describing some of the more difficult things people come here and go through. I just want to return to the fact that an awful lot of this life is so beautiful. This planet is so filled with beauty. Humans have produced so much beauty, so much glorious emanation from the creative heart of each of us as individuals. And then there are the challenges. So the Dance of Souls is focused on dealing with those challenges. I attract this beautiful person into my life, and the next thing we're screeching at each other. Why do we do that? Because, oh, hi, Mira.
Yeah.
It's you again.
It's you again. And those triggers
And
that we have to
trusting
learn how to handle.
the practice here,
To
and it
breathe.
takes practice to trust, to truly trust the process. That if somebody is behaving in a certain way, to truly trust that. And if we can, we actually be grateful to them for like breaking us open in a whole other way, at a whole other level. Because
I mean, this is good theater.
this is great theater. This is,
I mean, lay it on me. If we're so spiritual and we're so enlightened, we came here that way.
yeah.
And this is our theater. Wouldn't we say to the other actors, I mean, that's a good play. Lay it on me.
Good job.
Your
Good
stuff,
job. Good
your
job.
perpetrator thing, and now watch how I have lots of choices. How I'm going to respond. I'm not waiting for the other actor. to just, well, here, come through, everything's, humpy dory. No, that wouldn't be a good play. The audience would be bored.
We need
But
a few
have
drama.
that-
Right.
Yeah, God bless the drama.
That's great. But if we can look at them and say, whoa, nice job on the,
Exactly.
you're playing your part.
Oh,
Wow,
brilliant.
wow,
Can I
because
play
you
your
really
part
got
for
me
an
on
hour?
You
I
really
could-
got me on that one. And
Each
one thing else,
one has a pocket of energy. That's one of the gifts that I think hasn't been seen properly. We're walking around half dead. We don't have to get so decrepit. And what we see out there. And I feel that there's just been such a downplay of any kind of exuberance of spirit in our life. The ecstatic aliveness. Oh, pipe down. What are you getting so excited about? Be cool. Thousands, millions of young people walking around like they are really old. The energy is so depleted. And so what I'm saying in this theater, wow, let me play that part. Let me play that part. Not all the words and what the part, it's the energy that the part is holding. You're that perpetrator, bah, right? It's a big, bold energy to pick up a car if the baby's under it. And we see this kind of strength in people. And, even, the wounded one, that wounded one has given me a vulnerability of just exquisite compassion. I wouldn't have learned that unless I had an opportunity in this theater to play a wounded child.
yeah, that's beautiful.
And let us not forget that word. Thank you again, Wowza. Compassion.
Compassion.
We go through all of this.
Really.
If we look outside there, we see so many people going through so much.
Oh.
It can seem to be lacking in feeling to say, hey, we all chose this path and we're looking at these people suffering and they're like, oh, I didn't choose this.
Right.
Yes, compassion, tenderness.
And compassion for oneself, for one's own journey.
Yeah.
And the grief that people are feeling is a transformative power if we go there and let it give birth to parts of ourselves that we never would have accessed without that deep grief. So if we can look at the positive aspects of the whole thing, that the people who are choosing, somebody has called it the exit strategy, choosing to leave the planet right now. And
definitely.
Yeah. And to work on the other side for whatever it is, we just have to know it is our soul's journey. And what we also have to know, I want to bring in, because we're getting close to the end, is that circumstance loves us and the universe will show us what to do, when to do it, with whom, whatever. If we watch the signs of the universe, and you talk about the native people, watching the signs, what's where's the moss growing on the tree, whatever, what animal has come into your space, what person, what newspaper is sitting there beside you as you're sitting on the bus and you catch a view of the headline, or whatever it is, it's a conscious, loving universe. And we have an ebook now called The Conscious Loving Universe, a guidebook, which is essentially the trust frequency book brought into this ebook. And we have that to just let us know that the universe is going to talk to us, not in showing us our light and telling us where to go for our gift, bringing our gift to the party, because all of creation is awaiting that gift we promised to bring to the party. Okay, I let my son drop out of first grade because I knew that he came with a gift. And the universe was going to give him everything he needed to become that gift. It was going to chase him around with a silver platter. Here, Johnny, here's this, here's that, here's that. And it was my job to just open those doors and follow his soul's journey. And
Mm.
he's now 30, almost 34 years late. He's 34. It's almost
I've known him half his life.
half his life. And he's a flourishing photographer in LA. I mean, he's
one of the most
making it
creative young photographers exploding on the scene.
in
and,
LA.
And he had the blessing of having a mother who could listen to him when he
Yeah.
was a 7-year-old, saying,
Yeah.
I don't belong in school, Mom.
And I add one thing, with all of these deaths and this COVID and the major grief that people are going through, I remember many, many years ago, I had a miscarriage and wanted a baby so desperately. And there was just this divine being I met, and took me through a process where I saw, again, here was a divine being that desperately wanted to experience, like a firefly to the light can experience lifetimes right in that moment, just wanted to come, just let me go through the birth canal. That for that soul was heaven on earth, to just have this glorious experience for a moment. Oh, and the struggle and the tussle and that moment of, and then I'm back home. I'm back home.
Yeah, you see, that's it.
Oh,
We
good for
resist,
you.
we
Wow.
resist death and disease and all of these terrible things that we're so afraid of. And yet what happens when we surrender? We
And know,
return
Yeah.
home.
and know there's only love.
It's only
The
love.
soul's journey to wholeness. And we don't know another person's journey, so we cannot judge that. We can only go and understand with consciousness our journey and the loving nature of the universe, and transform ourselves, because we help the collective to transform, because that's what's up with this human race in these 3D bodies, is this big job we are doing for all of creation. So what a treat. And people can find out more about Wowza on her website, agelessvitality.com, right, Wowza?
Wowza, ageless vitality.
Wowza, ageless
Wowza, with a Z.
vitality.
That's my
Wowza.
breakthrough name,
Yeah.
And you
And
can get our books
You can
and
find us at
thetrustfrequency.net, our ebook. You can get our free ebook, and you can get our book. We'd love it if you buy it from us instead of Amazon. And you can access the Dance of Souls course. We'd love it if you
it's
take
an
the
online
Dance
course.
of
It's
Souls
fabulous.
course.
It's intense. It's not easy, but boy, is it transformative.
We got some meditations on there with Andrew doing some meditations and me walking you through
And
this
Wowza's
process.
there bringing
and
it all down
Wowza
into the body.
bringing it
Mhm.
into the body.
Yeah.
So let's see, what are our other thoughts? We're going to have the men are going to start coming in shortly.
They probably
We've
will.
had a beautiful Carrie on Facebook Live. We say hi, Carrie. Thank you for all your comments.
Uh-huh.
And I did tap into Facebook Live. And I'm sure there are many others on Facebook Live. So, Wowza, do you have any other thoughts on this free will thing?
Give us the bouncing wrap-up dance.
Well, you
Point,
had
point,
this.
point.
You
Yes,
had a
yes.
question about if we're separate beings, our free will as separate beings. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's where, if I believe I'm separate again, well, let's really study it. Let's enact it. Let's play it out. And I find that I see now performance art is the new therapy. These roles are not real. These separate roles that we're playing.
Well, they're so real on some level, though.
On some level, but what I'm saying is that there's a bigger me behind them all.
That's right.
Right, but it's so
I'm
important
a
that we
sacred actor. Yeah. And again, actually, it's unbelievable when I have played that victim child, that wounded child, consciously, and taken on her body language and that little quivering in the voice, and and how everything kind of turns in, and always looking up for approval, and I just went, oh my God, how beautiful you are. What a beautiful, and that it was, I don't even know how to explain this. It's like, that's all that part was longing for, was to be loved just as she is. Just because she came here to play that. And all she wanted was to be on the stage of life and going, my God, beautiful, beautiful part you are. Beautiful being you are, to play this for us. Now we know what it is. Now we can recognize it in ourselves and to clap and to cheer. And I have done this with thousands of people over 50 years. Every single time, that was the first time, no matter how much therapy, forget it, this. And it's see them, that little child, just suddenly go like this to the applause, rather than someone trying to fix her and change her and make her better. In the honoring of just the role as it is. Instant. I don't have to play it anymore. The job is done.
Beautiful. But don't you think also that child has to come to recognize and value itself as that person with the crossed eyes and the skin and everything, to just say, I am me.
Self-acceptance.
Self-acceptance.
all
I
right.
am me.
Yeah.
I am love.
Absolutely.
I am loved by the universe. It doesn't matter what these people in my life, but so we've
Didn't know
both-
that.
Hmm?
See, I mean, I knew that there was a deeper power, but at that time, being deep into that role, there had to be, I had to create a situation.
right.
And
Right.
situations, right?
Yeah, it's a process.
Needed helpers.
You get affirmation from outside, but ultimately it's our own heart opening up to self-love.
And that's why we need each other.
That's what radiates to everyone else.
Yeah.
We really are in this together, where
We
everything is in relationship, right? Everything is in relationship.
With the
The
universe,
entire universe.
with everything, that person that you meet in the grocery line that steps in front of you and rudely and ignores the fact that you're even there. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Because that happens to me all the time. So there must be something in me that doesn't feel like I have enough value to be standing here in line. So I need to do that work. Thank you very much, universe, for bringing this person to do such a thing.
And maybe
At the grocery store, they put these signs 6 feet apart.
6 feet
stand it.
apart.
So there's plenty of, somebody pushes in, it's like, everybody's gonna go, excuse me.
but look at the options we have as sacred actors in the play.
Hmm.
I think we're here to play the biggest role of all now. And that is a conscious, loving being, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That moment,
So
you're
you-
line and I'm playing this, I am really stepping into that role. This is my job now. Oh my God. I mean, I can have some humor. I can go, whoa, baby, you must be in a hurry. I mean, it's funny. I mean, it's suddenly we see that more of the divine human comedy
yeah.
of our actions when we're so, we're so caught up in these roles.
Yeah,
And
here come the
it's
men.
really
Hello,
fun.
John.
Okay, here
Here
they
we are.
are.
Wowza,
Okay,
we
we'll
love
sign
you.
off. We love
Give our love to China. John,
Yes.
Wowza's broadcasting after this direct to China for 3 hours.
3 hours.
Go, girl.
Wow.
Okay,
right.
we'll get off Facebook
Okay.
and say goodbye to everyone, and thank you very much.
Thanks everybody on
and
Facebook
we'll
Live, and yeah.
See you next week.